So Magic Johnson delivered the Los Angeles Lakers some of their best seasons in the 1980s as a player, and now he's trying to do the same thing as an owner, as he recently purchased the team, and he wants to bring the Staples Center back to its glory days where it's seen 5 championships, and he thinks rookie point guard Lonzo Ball can facilitate that. And we're going to see if Magic is right, as we are going to take control of Lonzo in a My Career series that is a little different than you're used to. It is technically a MyLeague series. However, we are player locking Lonzo Ball, and I have no control over anything else. I think this allows for a couple things. Number one, it allows for an actual draft class instead of having generic players coming in after the end of the season. And you'll see here with these automatics, it really is just a My Career. I will be controlling Lonzo, the Lakers and the CPU will be making trades and free agency signings and handling rotations. Hopefully they don't screw it up for us. So we're going to focus on Lonzo Ball. And when you look at Lonzo, what jumps out at you, and at least to me, is the passing. I think he's got the potential to be one of, if not the best, playmakers in the NBA. 7 assists per game as a rookie is pretty damn impressive, especially with a Lakers team that doesn't have a big-time scorer on it. The Lakers are a better team with Lonzo on the floor as opposed to off, and I think he has a Steve Nash quality to him, even if he's not as good as Nash is right now, to just bring a lot of energy to everyone on the floor. Defensively, I think he's got a lot of potential as well. He has the size and willingness to play on that side of the floor, and I would say he can be one of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA at the point guard position. Also, his rebounding intrigues me a lot as well. 7 boards a game as a rookie. I think it's safe to say Lonzo's got quite a few triple-doubles in his future along the way. But there are criticisms you can throw at him, and it's all the shooting and, in turn, the scoring. That's a real thing. We're going to have to deal with it. There are going to be times when teams are probably going to leave us wide open from 3, or they're going to dare us to shoot on the pick and roll, and we're probably not going to be able to kill them. But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this series, is because Lonzo has such drastic strengths and weaknesses. I think it's more enjoyable to watch that than to take over someone like, I don't know, Donovan Mitchell, whose offensive game is pretty well-rounded, you know? Like I said, this is not going to be a normal My Career series, and we'll dive a little deeper into it, but I want to give you a comparison for Lonzo as we see him miss a whole bunch of free throws, which is another scary thing for his game. Jason Kidd reminds me a lot of Lonzo just look at their games, you know? Kidd was not a natural scorer. He was able to creep up to 16, 17 a game. Not a great shooter, an excellent passer, one of the best point guards ever, a very good defensive player, and also a very good rebounder. Now, the age is different in terms of age of the NBA and what we value and don't value, especially in three-point shots. But I think that's a realistic goal for Lonzo, to reach Jason Kidd levels as a leader and all that. But here's where this is going to differ from maybe your typical My Career series. We're going to be focusing on the Lakers as a whole. We're not just going to put Lonzo in his own bubble and ignore everything else. We're going to be paying attention to Julius Randle's development, for example. And I think he can be a very good roller to the basket, offensive rebounder, playmaker for everybody else. Kyle Kuzma, a really good off-ball player, very good three-point shooter, good cutter to the basket, good in transition. He can also have his back to the basket where he can post up on opposing players. I think he and Kuzma together, or Lonzo and Kuzma together, I should say, can be a really good dynamic, even though I don't know if Kyle can be a huge scorer. He can definitely be a quality one at plus 15 a game, provide spacing and all that. And there's also Brandon Ingram, who may have the most scoring potential on this entire Lakers team. And the thing that I look forward to the most is calling plays for these guys, because as the point guard, I will be able to control the plays that are on the floor, of course. So we could get Josh Hart some more open opportunities. I think he can be a mainstay for the Lakers as a role player. A 2-guard who plays defense, shoots threes, and he might not be the biggest dude in the world, but he's not afraid to finish at the basket. There's also Ivica Zubac, a 7-footer who is interesting, at least, playing behind Brook Lopez at the minute, but we'll be running a lot of pick and rolls with him. Now, there's one thing we do have to talk about, and that is progression. How am I going to improve Lonzo if this is not a typical My Career? A lot of it is going to be based on just the natural thing that happens in 2K's MyLeague mode. Besides that, there's the training camps. I don't want this to be a typical My Career where the guy becomes a superstar in like 5 minutes. So, yeah. And now, to give you a little bit of a preview of how this would typically go, our upcoming game is against the Detroit Pistons. Our main matchup is going to be Reggie Jackson. The big thing with Reggie, I think, is to dare him to shoot. He's not a bad outside shooter, but I think as long as you have a hand in his face, get a good closeout, don't give him too much space, you can force some misses out of him. But if he starts making them in, then we'll have to change it up a little bit. As for his backup, who we'll probably see some time against, Ish Smith, I mean, he's basically what I just said about Reggie, but just amplified to a different level, because he might even be better at getting to the basket than Reggie is, just because of how fast he is, especially in transition. But you can dare Ish to shoot all day long, and you're probably going to have some success. But like I said, we're not just focusing on ourselves, so let's look at the Pistons as a whole. We're going to want to avoid as many Andre Drummond screens as we can, because if he gets a good screen on us and forces our big guy to step up on the ball handler, that's going to be a lot of alley-oops. The Lakers are a very good defensive team, so hopefully we're able to execute that one. But then the other player we have to watch for is Blake Griffin, who's going to get a lot of post-up opportunities, I would guess. I think Julius can do a pretty good job just because he's strong like Blake is. But besides that, we might have to double-team him sometimes, and given that we're not defending knockdown shooters at point guard, we should be okay there. So yeah, hopefully you have somewhat of an idea of what we're going for here. Not your typical My Career series, not that there's anything wrong with what other people want to do, but this is something I want to try out. Taking on Lonzo Ball in a player lock MyLeague series, paying attention to the Lakers as a whole, looking at matchups, opposing teams, the progression of our team overall, and then hopefully 2K's simulation system just doesn't screw it all up for us.